Hey everyone, Carlos here. I'm the CEO at Datagram. And today I want to start this first episode of what I'm calling an end-to-end stock analysis decision pipeline. And the reason I'm doing this is because a few months ago, I created this program that ingests data, stock data, and I do some predictions on where to invest. And I invited some friends to a Slack channel where I put all the decisions, and they told me, "Hey, why don't you do a video on how to do this?" So I wanted to share with all of you how you all can do this with no coding, with the technologies that we have available today, like AI. So in general terms, I've always been interested in stock investing. I don't do it professionally, but I like it, of course. And after doing my master's in computer science, I was like, hey, what if I could do this much better? So again, this is the first episode where we're gonna learn how to do it. You don't have to be technical, and basically let's jump on and go from there. The only reason I'll record more episodes is if you like and subscribe to the channel. That's an indication that you liked it, and that I should keep recording the next episodes. So hopefully I get that support from you. So I'm gonna share my screen here, and the first thing I'm gonna show you is a short presentation that I did, so that we can have a kind of like a schematic step by step on what we're going to see. But first of all, I'm not a professional investor, but I came across a friend shared this book that is called The Tale of Trading, written by Simon Ree. It's an amazing book that explains the not even the basics, like a lot of how the stock market works, and specifically for options, but it can be applied for stock trading as well. And Simon goes through like every single detail of what makes a good investment and not. So what I did is I read all of this book, and what we're going to be seeing today is all of that applied into code. But the nice thing about it is that we're not going to do any coding. It's going to be the AI that is going to do all the coding. So I'm going to show you the step by step on how to do it. If you want to get more insights and more detail and continue building this, you can buy the book, read it, and start applying everything that he says over there in this pipeline that I'm going to show you how to build. So today, in this first episode, we're going to be integrating IEX data. We're going to do the data preparation, and we're going to start doing some analysis. And then in the next episodes, we can continue with all the different analysis that he proposes, and then sending the output of these recommendations to a Slack channel where you're going to get all of these recommendations daily. All right, so let's head to IEX, which is the first day. So that IEX is a cloud provider, cloud data provider, where you can get all the stock data, right? Historically and per day. IEX is not cheap, but they have a free trial. I think I find it one of the most reliable resources out there. So you just go ahead and start the free trial. Get the initial package, which is the historical data stock package. Don't get anything else. You're not going to need it. And with that, once you do that, you're going to be able to get a token, or an API token. And what you're going to do after that is you're going to head into Datagram, and you're going to create an account in Datagram. It's absolutely free. And you don't have to do anything in there. Just create the account. And once you create an account, you're going to need to go here and go to add an integration. Once you do that, click on REST API and just put the name in your integration. and a stream name, which is whatever name you want your table to have. You don't need to do anything else. You don't need to add any information here. Just click next. And once you finish your integration, you're gonna get you're gonna go to settings, and it's gonna show you your documentation, which is basically your API token and your integration ID. You're gonna need that information as well. So write it down. Write down the API token from IEX and get the API token and integration ID once you finish your integration in Datagram. Once you do that, you're gonna create a new project. I called it trading. You can put the name that you want. You can create a new project here. And once you're there, create a new pipeline, okay? In my case, I called it IEX API ingestion. And in here, what you're gonna do is once you finish your IEX data integration, you're gonna add it into this project, and you're gonna drag and drop it here into this canvas, okay? Once you do that, you're gonna drag and drop a code operator IDE as I did here. And you're just gonna go here and edit it. You're gonna see this option. You don't need this option. Close this option, okay? And you're gonna see that you're gonna be able to start the machine. In this case, you're not seeing it because I already started it. Once you start it, it's gonna take about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and you're gonna see a URL. Click on that URL, and you're gonna see that this pops up. So basically, it's a VS Code in the cloud. Don't panic. I know I said you don't have to code, and you don't have to code, but you're gonna have to do a basic step here so that we can ingest the data from IEX and then upload it into Datagram. So what I did for you is I did all of this code beforehand. So go into my public gist, and I created this in GitHub, and I made it public for you. You're gonna be able to access it in the comments in the YouTube video. And the public gist looks like this, okay? Here's all the code. Copy and paste all of this code and paste it in the IDE in here. You just need to copy, paste. And once you paste it, you need to change two things. The first one is here where it says your token, it's gonna be the IEX token, okay? And then down here, to upload the data into Datagram, you're gonna need to replace here where it says your ID. Here goes your integration ID, and in here, your API key, your Datagram API key. That's it. You don't need to do anything else. Then here in Datagram, once you make those changes, I'm gonna show you how that looks. I'm just gonna delete this here just so that you know. You're gonna go here to source control. You're gonna hit the plus button. Then you're gonna put here whatever you want, work in progress, and you're gonna commit this code. Once you commit it, this is gonna change to sync. Click on sync. And once you do that, you're all set to go. You don't have to do anything else. And in here stops all the code you have to do in this project, all the code, because it's just a copy paste. So go back here and, oh, sorry, I forgot about something, and I apologize. One thing that you need to do is in here, you see that I have two options, 5 years and previous. Previous is to bring the data from yesterday, and 5 years is to bring the historical data of 5 years. The first time you run this, comment this out and comment this out so that you bring all of your data. Also, I have all of these symbols here. If you don't want to bring all of that data, you can just choose the number of stocks that you want. I usually recommend not to bring everything, just bring like 50 or 60 of the stock that it's your favorite. I always think that you should invest in companies that you believe on and not in whatever. So once you do this, again, remember every time you change this, just the same. Commit, put a name, sync, and that's it. So what I did was the first time I had this, then once it finished, it's gonna take about 4 hours to finish. Just again, comment this out and this one, right? So this is going to be your default. The only time you're going to have to do this is the first time to bring all of the historical data, right? Now, let's assume this is the first time you're running this. So I'm going to have this commented out and you're going to have this. Let's go back into Datagram. And here in Datagram, the only thing you have to do is save and run. Okay. Once you run this, you're going to wait for it to finish. It's going to say running. You're going to see all of your logs. And what it's going to do is, again, bring the data from IEX and load it into Datagram. The way you can monitor if it's bringing data, you can go here to the workspace and you can go to IEX or whatever the name of your integration. And you're going to see here in extractions that it's bringing data. Okay. So in my case, it's all of these data. And as you can see, it only says one because I'm bringing the data of the previous day. I'm not bringing the 5-year data. I already did that a few months ago. So if it's your first time, you're going to have to be able to see here not one, but maybe 1,500 or whatever it is. Okay. So, okay. So that's done. Let's go back to my trading project and let's go back to here. This means that your pipeline to ingest data, it's working, and let's say it finished. Once it finished, you're going to go to your IDE again, and you're going to change this to what I showed you, right, to bring the previous data. You're going to do all of the commit again that I show you. You're going to close it, and you're going to run it again. Once you run it, and even before running it, you're going to schedule this pipeline and you're going to schedule it to run it daily. That way, it's every single day is going to bring the previous day data. And that means that your stock data, it's always going to be updated so that the predictions can run every single day. Okay. This is very important. Once you do that, you don't have to do anything else. The pipeline is scheduled. This is going to run by itself every single day. Okay. With that in mind, now let's go to the second step. Let's go back to the presentation here that I had so that you can see what we're going to do, which is data prep. For the data prep step, what we want to do is we want to make sure we bring just the symbol, the date, open, and close columns and make sure they're distinct. And the reason it's important for them to be distinct is because it might happen that some information comes as duplicates. So we don't want duplicates. So I'm just going to copy paste this. I'm going to show you how we're going to do this. So just create a new pipeline. In this case, I just created it. And we're going to do two things. Drag and drop your integration, the integration that we just created in the other pipeline, and drag and drop it here. Here's mine. It's called IEX data. And the next step is drag and drop this JEDI NLP operator, which is our AI operator. And you just need to click here and click on edit. What it's going to do, it's going to initialize a machine just for you, where you're going to be doing all of your instructions or giving all of your instructions. And this is going to write Python code on the back end. Okay. So it's going to establish a connection. It's going to take about 1 or 2 minutes. In this case, it took much less because I already created it earlier. So it's ready for me now. So what I'm going to do to start off is I want to give you a sense of the data that we have. So give me the first 5 rows in my table. Let's wait a little bit and see how this looks like. All right. So it's returning my first 5 rows. And as you can see, I have a lot of information: close, high, low, open, price, date, symbol, volume ID, key, blah, 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 blah. Okay. We don't need all of this to make our analysis. What we're going to do is I'm just going to paste the instruction that I had in the presentation. So here's what I'm going to say. I want to start doing a stock analysis. First of all, I want a table where I only have the symbol, date, open, and close columns, and make sure they're distinct. We don't want duplicates. Okay, that's all I want to do for now. And let's see what happens. All right, so here's our data deduplicated and cleaned with just the symbol, the date, open, and close. Okay, now let's see. Since I know a little bit of coding, I just want to make sure in here that everything looks right and everything looks perfect. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click here on save and run. And what's going to happen here is that it's going to make all of that data available for me. It's going to be deduplicated and it's going to be ready to be used in my next operator. I just want to have that data available cleaned without it being dirty, corrupted, or whatever for my next operator. And as you can see, it's the same operator, right? So I'm just using this one to clean the data, and now I'm going to use this one for all of the rest of my operations. So this is going to take about maybe 4 or 5 minutes processing. Once I have here successful, I'm going to connect the next one, and I'm going to start the next steps, which actually we can check them out right away. So we accomplished this data prep. Now what we're going to do is, first of all, do the upward trend. Okay. To analyze the upward trend, what our friend Simon tells us is that, first of all, to do this analysis, we need to group it by symbol, right? Because we have all of this data and all of it is not organized. Let's say if it's Apple, maybe it's Apple, Amazon, other stock, etc. So what we need to do to make a good analysis is to group it by symbol first. So that's what we're going to be doing first. And then we're going to be doing the exponential moving averages. And exponential moving average has a huge theory behind it, but it's normalizing the growth curve or the down curve of different stock prices, right? So usually when you see a stock over time, you're gonna be seeing that it has like a ton of ups and downs. What this does is that it gets all of those prices and it smooths it up in what it's called exponential moving averages, and it's a much better way to analyze the data for stock investment. Again, all the theory on that and the specific explanation is on the book if you want to go deeper on it. But this is very extremely normal and common in stock analysis. So this is what we're going to be doing first. Okay. And once we do this first analysis, then what we're going to check with that analysis is if there's an upward trend. And the way we check if there's an upward trend is by doing this according to Simon, which is making sure that the 8-day EMA is above the 21 EMA, that the 21 EMA is above the 34 EMA, and that the 34 EMA is above the 55 EMA, and then 55 EMA above the 89 EMA. This is what he calls the bullish or the bullish stack. Okay. And you can visualize it maybe like a stacked rainbow where you have like the first line, which is the 8th, etc. And they're like nicely drawn like a rainbow where you have like these strips organized one on top of the other, right? If this happened to cross between each other, then is where you have other analysis that we're going to do in the future. But to just check a nice uptrend, these lines has to be stacked like the nice rainbow. And so this is the first analysis that we need to do to check an upward trend. And this is important for me because when I invest in stock, I just invest in things that are going upward. I don't do bets going downward, which it's what usually it's called shorting stock. Like you bet that that stock is going to go down. I don't like doing that type of investing. I like investing in companies that are going forward, companies that I understand, companies that I know that they're going to do great. So what I like doing is, hey, I want to make sure that the trend is upward. I just don't trust a chart that I see that it's showing me upwards. I want to check with numbers that it's an upward trend. And this is the first step to guarantee a good investment, right? Is the numbers tells you that there's an upward trend. It means that that trend is going to continue upward and that it's going to be extremely hard for that to go down. And actually, what we're going to be checking later is on ways on how to make that, on how to check that downward trend. So let's go back here. Oh, first of all, let's just copy this first instruction so that we can tell the NLP. So it's still loading, as I mentioned. I'm going to pause the video here. And once it's successful, we'll be back in a bit. Okay, so Jedi finished successfully. And now I just connected this new Jedi where we're going to be doing all of the analytics. So I'm just going to open it here and we're going to let it start. It's going to take usually 1 or 2 minutes to do that. And we can start asking the questions. In the meantime, I'm going to go back to the presentation and we're going to start doing the analysis by asking this question, right? So let's see. So I want to do a stock analysis. The first thing I need is to group. No, that I need to do is to make sure the data types are the ones I need. Please transform all the columns to float except date and symbol. Make sure date is in date time. Then group the stock by symbol to run all the analysis and give me the exponential moving average per day for the following periods. Okay, this sounds right. Let's hit enter, sorry. And let's wait for the magic. It's incredible that, nowadays we get to experience this technology, which is AI, doing just all of this analysis by just providing an input. So let's wait a few seconds and see what's going on. Okay, so there was an error processing. Processing errors can happen for multiple reasons. For example, there's a problem with the API. For example, I have a problem with my internet. So there's many things that could happen, but you just need to try again and go from there. Probably we need to improve those error processing error messages so that we're a little bit more explicit and tell you what's going on. But for now, that's unfortunately what we have. We'll see if this second try works. Okay, this time it worked. As you can see, the error is different, but this time the error is because when it wrote the code, it got an error, but it's now relearning based on that experience. And this is what's amazing about this product, right? So now we got our first result, which is the exponential moving averages for all of these periods. And this looks amazing. Let me just explore really quick that code here. It converts to datetime, perfect, converts to float, and then it calculates the exponential moving averages. Beautiful. So now let's go to the next step in the process, which is to create a column that is called upward trend. So let's just copy that, paste it, and let's see what it says. Let's create a new column. Let me move these a little bit back again. That will check if there's an upward trend. We check this by making sure if the 8 a.m. is above this is a bullish stack EMA. And do that for every single row, making sure perfect. All right, let's see what happens. And this column should be a true or false. I didn't specify that, but hopefully it's gonna the AI is gonna infer that's what I need. So it's a new column that is gonna be called upward trend. Hopefully, it's gonna be true or false, depending if all of that condition is meant to be a bullish stack or not. As I explained, it should look like a rainbow, right? It's like a nice stack. So we should get a true or false. Let's see. So, the nice thing here is that it gave us, instead of a true or false, just a 0 1, which is basically the same. So now we have it here, right? Bullish, 0 or 1. Let's try to read what it gave us here. So let's let it finish to see what it says. Okay, first I ensured that the date column was in datetime format and open and close columns were in flow datetime. Then I calculated the exponential moving averages. We know that. Next, I created a new column named bullish, which checks if there's an upward trend for each row. This is done by checking if the 8-day MA is above the, okay, all the checks. If all of these conditions are met, it indicates a bullish stack, which is a sign of an upward trend. Finally, I grouped the data by symbol and date and calculated the MA values for each group. This gives us the average EMA for each stock symbol per day. Look at the code here to see what it says. Okay, so it's type it calculates. Okay, it calculates the exponential moving average for all the exponential moving averages. And then, okay, the frame 0. It calculates the trend. Perfect. Yeah, this makes sense. Okay, perfect. This works. So I think up until this point, we did a lot, right? We integrated our data, we checked the EMAs, and now we know if there's an uptrend or not. So this concludes episode 1. In episode 2, we're going to calculate downward trends, kind of like the same way we did with upward trends, and we'll go from there. Hope you liked it.